moderator. As you all already know me, I'm Dr. Alka Parvate and I practice in Pune. To tell you a bit about Dr. Vaishali, she is a young, dynamic homeopath and she is famous amongst many middle class people, middle class patients, and she has provided service homeopathic treatment to patients right from sweepers to IAS officers to IPS officers and many politicians. She has done her BHMS from Mumbai and MD in 2012 from Maharashtra itself, and she has ranked the 5th in the whole of Maharashtra. To tell you a bit about her achievements and her contributions. Yes, first about her contribution, everyone knows about it. She has written a book called as Unlocking the Boger Synoptic Key Part 1, which was unveiled on 26th of February 2024 by Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Shri Devendra J. Fadnavis. Her book has received the Golden Book of the Year Award 2025. As far as her achievements are concerned, she has got numerous achievements. To just name few of her recent ones, on 26 Jan 2025, she was honored by the Ratan Tata Memorial Award, and 13th February 2025, she was honored as the Nightingale of India Sarojini Naidu Memorial Jewels of the Nation Award 2025. Apart from this, she has received 10 national and international awards. That is really commendable. As we all know, she is the national president of our iconic women homeopaths of Bharat, which is an organization of 500 plus now homeopathic women doctors. And she's also the Mumbai president of the Homeo Healers Homeopathy Worldwide, which is an international organization of 1,500 homeopathic doctors. And I can certainly tell you that apart from being a good doctor, she's also a very good human, because she has dedicated her life to social service. She has conducted numerous free homeopathic medical camps for poor people, for orphans and women in homes, including the Vijaya Ashram, Silvano Ashram, Girija Ashram, Sneha Sadan Ashram and Grace Foundation. And every Sunday, she conducts an OPD at Ma Sheila Clinic at Kurla, where she distributes free medicine to poor patients, and she treats around 60 to 70 patients on that day, which is really commendable. So great work, Dr. Vaishali, keep it up. I hand over the session to you. And
Thank you, Dr. Alka. Thank you so much. A big thanks to you, because you are doing this day in and day out now since we have daily lectures, and that really takes great commitment. Thank you so much.
I'm really thankful for giving me this opportunity, and it's a real good opportunity to learn from really good doctors, senior doctors. It's going to really help everyone.
Am I audible? Because some people cannot hear, they are saying.
You are audible, ma'am.
Okay. Is Rachna there? You would like to start?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, we'll share.
Yeah, I'll share.
So basically, I have selected the topic. Dr. Mona was to speak on tuberculinum today, so I thought I'll speak on the same topic. Due to some genuine reason, she could not, but she is there with us so that whatever I cannot, she will help us complete. So before I begin, I'm actually talking about the remedy as we use in the clinic. I'm not going too much into how the tuberculinum issue was selected, which one was used, which were the different ones that was called bacillinum initially. All this is theory. Dr. M.L. Tyrell has given very good notes on the theory, and of course Dr. Kent and many other doctors. I'm actually going to talk my journey with tuberculinum and how it has helped me grow from a very weak practice, strong practice. Yes? So when we talk of tuberculinum, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, ma'am.
Yes, so when we are talking tuberculinum in clinical practice, we will use this in 2 ways. First is the way we select our chronic constitutional, right? And the second as an anti-miasmatic. Now, Dr. Kent mentions here that then wherever we are using the word, when the well-selected medicine fails, It is not where tuberculinum is to be used. It is not for that. For what it is, we'll see later. So for nosodes, the way we follow the rules, one is infrequent repetition and second is higher potency. So this rule will be followed all throughout. Next slide. So first is our constitutional picture, right? Next. So when we talk about the constitution of a tuberculinum patient, first is if you go see the mind, it is a gentle disposition, not always although, mild, always changing places, restless, they're very amiable, very friendly. In children, when we see in our OPDs, they are restless people, restless children, very angry, fearful, they have fear of dogs, and multiple allergies. Here, the anger is not seen in all the children, some of them are very, very playful. In early practice, I had a problem in differentiating tuberculum and tarantula right in the clinic. Once we have all the symptoms, I was working with a doctor who was specialist in homeopathic pediatrics. So that is the time he taught me that tuberculinum is a remedy while you are sitting and his fair complexion eats yet emaciates. This tall height is seen as soon as they are born in most of them. So while you want to know, you ask the mother when they were born, they were always taller as a child, and they will say yes. ऐसा नहीं कि suddenly the phosphorus picture we have suddenly in puberty they pick up. Most of the tuberculinum babies are tall right there. Yes, always confirm family history of tuberculosis, allergy, and asthma. Before I prescribe tuberculinum, I make sure that there is one asthmatic in the family. So I actually make sure that there are two people in generations who have allergy, asthma, and tuberculosis. And now, if you have prescribed your tuberculinum, when the patient comes next, catch them and confirm this. There will be at least two generations who have got tuberculosis, not just allergy and asthma. We know how this moves, right? Okay, so now I'm talking of a case where a tuberculinum is given as a constitutional. This is I think 2015 or 16. There is his mother who gets the child. The child is a typical lean, thin, restless, running all around the place, recurrent cold and cough, multiple allergies. So his name is Ishan, hyperactive, destructive, throws and breaks toys, does not injure anyone, and does not study. So the reason to seek the treatment was the teacher was after the mother that please put your child in another school because it does not allow us to study. Although he was lean thin, he had a great desire for pizzas, and this appetite and this desire was so much that he would order online without telling his mother every day one pizza. Although he was very, very thin. Next. So this is how it started. So after the full case, I came down to tuberculinum. I asked the mother for the history of tuberculosis. There were three people who had bone pox in that family. His mother is an asthmatic. His grandmother had interstitial lung disease and she was critical at that time. So tuberculinum was given in 1 m. I don't give it in 200. It being a nosode, I use 1 m as my first potency. After 15 days, I have given it once in 15 days. Then she comes with her first follow-up. Mother said, there is no change, doctor. My child is still the same. I told her, madam, it is not possible. Then the mother says, yes, my staff is asking me कि बच्चे को क्या खिलाया है, बच्चा इतना शांत हो गया है, 2-3 दिन से कुछ तोड़ा नहीं है. Once again, I gave SL for the next 15 days. So now we have 1 dose of tuberculinum for 1 month. After 2 months, his teacher spoke to me in the follow-up and she thanked me and she was surprised that the child has shown so much improvement and he has become obedient. This is the change we see after a constitutional is given. And this was a time when I used very little of tuberculinum. So let me confess that for first 5 years of my practice, I got to use in kids. And I think that was my biggest mistake because the best benefit is what you get is in kids. and they really turn out well. So now the next case is where tuberculinum is used as an anti-miasmatic. So this was actually eye opener for me. The year is 2015. Kavya, 9-year-old girl, she comes with molluscum contagiosum. I have taken the whole case. It was a clear picture of calcarea carp. I gave her calcarea carp. The molluscum papules were on the face, neck, chest, back, and thighs. After according to me, it was Herring's law going right, but something was not right because then it had to go through and through. So I took a retake again and gave Silesia. The thighs cleared, it came back on the chest. I again reviewed the case. So the next medicine I give was phosphorus. See, we all have a totality, right? The totality is right in front of me. When the one medicine is not seeing through, we would give it in the higher dosage, then the higher potency. And if the medicine is correct, we rarely have to repeat. So with all this, I was knowing that there are patchy cures happening, partial cures. So I was changing the medicine every 2.5 to 3 months. So the next medicine was given in this, which did not help. After all the medicines, similar reaction, the initial molluscum would go and new one would come. I retook the case. I am very thankful actually. The mother gave me a total of 9 months for this, for a small thing like molluscum. But the same remedies would come. Next. Then I contacted a senior doctor. He asked me to tell me the dominant miasm. So I looked through the past history and the family history, and the dominant miasm was tubercular miasm. Now, of course, there is a debate on this also, because some people do say there is no tuberculinum. Hahnemann says only 3 miasms. That's okay. It is pseudosora. So basically, when it is not sora and the syphilitic destruction has not happened, when dynamicity as its height is tuberculinum. So it was a tubercular miasm. So that doctor told me, Vaishali, give tuberculinum. I said okay. So after that, I gave tuberculinum 1 dose for 15 days. Next, the papules started reducing, head to toe, face cleared, chest cleared. Then I gave for another 15 days. After a month, there were no new papules. There were no old ones and no new ones. The case looked cleared, but I was worried after a reaction like this, there can come some more, because it has always happened. After Silesia, there was a partial cure. After calcarea, there was a partial cure. So I didn't know what to expect. I was on my learning curve. Next. After that, I gave SL. So there is only 1 dose of tuberculinum acting for 2 months now, because this is the next month of SL. No new papules and old ones are cleared, no marks remaining. Next. So this case, which was lingering for 9 months, was cleared in 15 days because of a so-called anti-miasmatic. It was certainly not her constitutional. Next month, her 5-year-old brother gets molluscum papules, face and chin. I'm already tired and fatigued because same family is coming to me for 1 year now for a small complaint like this. It is very embarrassing early practice. And I prescribed tuberculinum right in the start of 15 days. I said I would not go and beat around the bush. I will give tuberculinum. The constitution was like, I have taken the full case. The constitution was lachesis, but I gave tuberculinum because the dominant miasm in his case was also that. He had a recurrent tendency to cold and cough, allergy, history of repeated tonsillitis. Everything got cleared. So I finished his treatment in 1 month flat and then gave SL for another month, fully knowing that that is not the constitution. So I'm a quick learner. I learned in the first case and applied in the second in the same family. Next case now. This case was an eye-opener to me that we keep doing our takes, retakes, more case taking. Probably sometimes it is the miasm which is not allowing it. Some doctors have a good argument in this. Dr. Borkar, whom I've assisted for most time, has a good argument in this that all our constitutional are triamiasmatic. But what we see here in both these cases says something otherwise. I don't know the real reason, but both the times the cases got cleared. Okay. Now next was I was assisting an allopathic pediatrician who practiced homeopathy. Here we see another use of tuberculinum. This was the time when I was scared to use TUV. So we have this child, Master Vihan, 5-year-old, chief complaint recurrent cold and cough, asthmatic, required nebulization once in 2 days, all the possible food allergies, ADHD with learning disabilities, lean, thin and narrow chested. Next. So his constitutional, sulfur 200, 1 dose per week. Child responded well, but there were back-to-back nebulizations still. Once in a week he had to be nebulized. So I have given sulfur 200 Sunday once for 3 months now, but still now most of the allergies are gone. Even the ADHD has settled. The school is saying improvement. Not that he was completely cured, but he was getting better on every level except that this would not completely go. So TUB 1M was prescribed. Since then, there was no nebulization for 3 months at a stretch. Once after that, again he had to be nebulized when instead of sulfur, TUB was repeated, and after that, for good 8 months, there was no requirement. Then we were only treating him for ADHD. Next. Yes, this is a very interesting case. There's this boy, 17-year-old, his constitutional is nux vomica. Chief complaint is recurrent cold and cough, sneezing, and recurrent GI upsets. The gastrointestinal upsets are so much, he gets loose stools very easily the moment he eats outside. So although all his gang of friends will go out, he will not eat anything. Once a year, he would get severe stomachache. So now what could be the reason for stomach pain? I have explained his physique to you. It is a clear tuberculous miasm. So as homeopaths, we have the added advantage of having the miasm. So we should know what to expect in the USG. My analysis at that time was it is an intestinal colic. The senior doctor said no, see the miasm. So what if he is a nux vomica? See the miasm. Anyone can tell me what was there in the USG?
Is it diverticulitis, doctor?
No. The doctor sitting next to me told the patient there is nothing but lymphadenitis. And the patient, yes, the patient was more than happy, surprised, and he fell in love with the doctor saying, yes doctor, आपने तो report पढ़ा ही नहीं, आपको पता कैसे चला? He said, because मैंने patient पढ़ लिया है. And that was when I came to know that how much homeopathy allows us to know the depth. By knowing the miasm, we know what to expect. There are just glands. So with this nux vomica, although we were giving him, he was not recovering. So we gave him tuberculinum 1 dose. And the pain never returned. We did a repeat sono. The glands had settled. There was no adenitis after that. It was mesenteric lymphadenopathy. So when you read your TUB, you will find everywhere lymphadenopathy. And this is how we see it in the patients. Yes, TUB is one medicine which I am yet to have any failures. There are cases when it is a clear case of nux vomica, but nux vomica does not help. There is a clear lachesis, it does not help. But when there is a clear tubercular miasm, it has never failed. Till date, I don't have a single failure. But however, I was very scared to use it in my early practice. I don't know why. The way it was taught in college was this is a medicine which you cannot give because it is made from the tuberculum nosode. So instead of getting more confident, unfortunately, I got more scared. And that is why I am actually choosing this topic, because it is one of the best things that you can give your patient. The mother will bless you till no end. This is the medicine which actually grew my practice. Okay, one more thing. There are many patients who actually contact me from outstations that we want your treatment. So what happens is I take online cases. You all must be facing this now. So we have to take case from real far away. So what I do is I take the full case. I take the constitutional. I give. So for example, I have this patient from Faridabad. He requires nebulization daily. He's a 15-year-old. Because of this nebulization, he has to lose out on his school. His rank and so there is a lack of confidence. With a full case we had taken, he was pulsatilla. So I said first 15 days medicine, pulsatilla repeated twice a week. Now there is of course a debate here also, because some people give only one dose for a month, but for patients who are asthmatic, I give 2 doses per week to start with. So after that he settled, but still the allergies continued. So what I did later, in the next batch, I gave my constitutional. I had told them to have a gap of 2 days, gave 1 dose of tuberculinum, and then ask them to call me after 15 days again. So in a month, there is 1 dose of tuberculinum and 6 doses of pulsatilla. That entire month, it did not require to be nebulized. So the next question was whether to give pulsatilla or tuberculinum. There was no tuberculinum in the mind for this. Pulsatilla 200 potency. So after that, I gave only tuberculinum 1 m, 2 doses, right, per month. Rest all was SL. He did fantastic. For the last 7 months, he has not required nebulization. He has not even taken antibiotics. Otherwise, 5 times a month, he had to go to some pediatrician, take antibiotics, and nebulization was almost daily occurrence. So wherever his mother traveled throughout, she used to always have a nebulizer with her. After that, again, one day she called me that he started coughing. So this is the time I gave pulsatilla. See, with pulsatilla you can repeat. Tuberculin is not something I would like to repeat. So I give that not more than twice a month, and to be frank, I have never required it. I had a similar case of an 8-year-old. She used to be nebulized twice daily. This happened for 15 days. The mother called me. She was in Hyderabad. I took her case. The constitutional was sulfur. I prescribed sulfur. The nebulization came down. I gave it at that point of time twice a week. I gave medicine for 10 days only. So the nebulization had come down to 5. I repeated the dose, but nothing was happening. It would not reduce further. Imagine a mother nebulizing an 8-year-old twice a day. Imagine the quality of life. She would not go out to play. She would not eat. She would be cranky, clinging the whole day. So then I gave 1 dose of tuberculinum, 1 m. There was no nebulization done for the next 7 days. So I gave SL, not even sulfur. I gave SL for the next 7 days. We managed her every 7 days after that. She did not require a repetition after that. Then for 3 months I kept her on SL again. No tuberculinum, no sulfur, because there was no need to prescribe. In the next 3 months there was no nebulization. You can imagine the mother's happiness when from twice daily, 15 days, it has come down to 0 in 3 months. This boy that I earlier told you about was nebulized God knows for how many years daily. The mother does not even remember. Their relatives contacted me and thanked me. कि इस बार पहली बार वो लड़के को देखा, he was attending a function without nebulizer. This is the impact a remedy like this will have on the quality of life of that person and the family. These are 2 very important cases. Both the cases, it was not the constitutional, that I am sure about. But how much to repeat? And if a TUB saves so much, puts the child in good health with increase of appetite, increase of weight, less of all the allergies, then Dr. Heta, both are asthmatic patients with family history of asthma and tuberculosis family history, and that was the only pathology, but severe asthma. After this, the girl, the 8-year-old I told you about, has a tendency to recurrent tonsillitis, for which I manage her with her constitutional. Once in 3 months, I give her tuberculinum 1 m, and they rarely require antibiotics or nebulization now. So with the case of molluscum, we have seen that a case which would not respond to different medicines, 15 days the picture changed. Same happened with the brother. You can't see the screen, Dr. Rekha? No, no more screen sharing. I am sharing the cases. One more thing about tuberculinum. When you see a child and you know it is tubercular miasm, always request the parents to not give them cow's milk, because cow's milk will give maximum allergies. You should tell them go for buffalo milk. Whenever you are treating them, it is very important because most allergies come from there. Another thing for tuberculinum, I would say this is, many of you might criticize me that I am a fanatic, but whenever a child comes to you with ADHD, sometimes it is very difficult to find the full picture because they don't allow you to talk. The parents are hassled. You have spent 1 hour to 1.5 hours. Just try to find the tubercular traits, and if you get the miasm, which you will always get, start your cases with a tuberculinum 1M dose. Keep your constitutional ready. If you have done that, in the next follow-up, 1 month down the line, the child is sure to be 40% better before you have even prescribed your medicine. So now what I do is, whenever I see a ADHD, I will check into the family history, and you will always find a family history of allergy and tuberculosis. Most of them are not ready to talk about tuberculosis, but you have to tell them that it is going to have an impact on the case. And they will, and you see to it, after a tuberculinum is given, a lot of unwanted things will settle down and it will become an easy to manage child. It's like removing the engine out of the system. Suddenly everything has improved. Their restlessness reduced, their violence has reduced, their anger issues have reduced, their food allergies have reduced. It's like taking the steam out of the case, and then it becomes an easy path for your constitutional. Because I have seen constitutional only being prescribed for years together under senior doctors, and the results were very little. And people who are giving an anti-miasmatic to start with and starting ADHD cases, the results are much better. They are much faster, and there are all the planes. Normally, when a constitution was given, I was working earlier with other doctors. When the constitution was given in increased repeated doses, what happened is the cold and cough settled, the allergies settled, the skin complaints settled, the other complaints settled, but ADHD would not settle. They would remain hyperactive. But when an anti-miasmatic like tuberculinum was started in the case, next time when the child came for follow-up, he was so much better that we would wonder, why would we want to take the full case? Because what we achieved after giving the constitutional for so long was done in the first month by tuberculinum itself. So as a student at that point of time, I wondered, where has the simillimum gone? Because all we are worried about is the simillimum, and that is what we should be worried about. Itna sara case detail, itne sara repertoire is for that one medicine, which is your tri-miasmatic medicine, which is going to solve all your problems. It's like watering the root; it will go to all the branches. We have it ready, but after you give tuberculinum, many times you don't need to use it only. But still, I keep it ready because for smaller complaints, I will not give a 1M of tuberculinum. I will give that, and the need for TUV will be reduced. But unfortunately, in most of my ADHD cases, after I prescribed TUV, I did not have to prescribe anything else. Then whatever prescription was done was only for the fevers. So actually, I have not been able to explain this. My patients have taught me this because I was all into miasms and case taking. Earlier, I was a practitioner who followed only predictive mind. I was a predictive practitioner. So basically, what we would do is we would take the full case and only give the constitutional. While we were teaching, learning there was nothing like an intercurrent medicine or an anti-miasmatic medicine, because as I said, all the medicine are polycrest and they have all the miasms. So you cannot say that Silesia does not have a tubercular miasm and a phosphorus does not have a psychotic miasm. Although we know that their predominant miasms are tubercular and psychotic. If you check calcarea carb, the dominant miasm is tubercular miasm. Although they are going to be fat and chubby, that it is always a tubercular miasm in calcarea carb. So this argument I have not been able to settle anywhere. Then you have the ICR, which will see the case thoroughly only to find out the miasm. And these are the people who use their intercurrents and anti-miasmatics. I don't know outside Maharashtra, but inside Maharashtra, these are the people who use it best. So while I was following one mindset, I was giving one dose per month, and probably a lot of good cures would have happened, which I could not, because I could not judiciously use the nosode. But once I started using it, there has not been a single failure, and I've used it in multiple cases. So today, when I get a call from a faraway place saying that, hello, I heard so and so person getting treated for repeated cold and cough, आपने उनका अस्थमा ठीक कर दिया, can you send me the medicine? I said yes. As a routine homeopathic doctor, I take the full case almost for 40 minutes to 1 hour. I am ready with the constitutional. I usually take the full details of the attack also of asthma to keep the acute also ready. If you have given a good constitutional, you rarely will require the acute. But still I am ready with everything. But now, since the last 3 years, I will give tuberculinum first. And if there is a need, I will give the constitutional. And unfortunately, the need does not arise in 9 on 10 people. But still, sometimes to make myself feel nice, I would give the constitution once in a while for some other complaints. So this has been an eye-opener for me from the first 7 years of my practice to not wanting to use it at all, till an allopathic doctor teaching me how to use it, and my senior teaching me to use it in skin cases. He did not even see the case, he just asked me the miasm, and everything got cleared. So when we as young homeopaths are lingering around the cases, changing one medicine after the other, we probably have missed the miasm. I have unfortunately not got similar results with the psychotic antipsychotics, the Thuja or the Medorinum. I have not got such great results, but TUB has been the one which has seen me through. I have a good results with Syphilinum also. Once I had received a call with a pounding headache, a woman with a pounding headache, all the syphilitic modalities. I could not reach her, she could not reach me. I had told her to go to the hospital if this persists. I asked her to buy Syphilinum 1M from the local pharmacy. The headache never returned. Basilinum, if we read Dr. Burnett well, they are mostly using it for skin complaints, that to ringworm. So this also, my first case as a doctor when I passed out was a case of ringworm. We were still in college at that time because we used to visit the college very often. We would have attachments to college. So a junior contacted me for medicine. So I took the full case. The medicine that came was Calcarea carb. So I gave her Calcarea carb. So she handed out to me a bottle of Basilinum 1M. So I said, why are you using this? You are very small. You are in first year. What are you doing with Basilinum? We have finished internship and we are not touching the medicine yet. Said no. A senior homeopath has given her Basilinum, who was our teacher, Materia Medica teacher. He has asked her to take 2 doses per week. I said, what happened after the 2 doses per week? She said for 15 days they got cleared from the legs, and now they have come both on the hands and legs. So I asked her to stop using it. And then I prescribed Calcarea Cup 200, 1 dose. And in the next 7 days, the patches on the hands got better. I gave SL because that time I used to give only 1 dose per month. The patches continued to clear. Next month, I again repeated 2 doses of Calcarea Cup and the full case was cleared. So here, Basilinum did not help. Tuberculinum I would not give. But Calcarea Cup cleared the case, including the miasm. So after this also, I would stay in doubt that why does our constitutional not act although it has all the symptoms. When I gave Silesia to the same girl, Silesia we know for tuberculosism, right? I had given her phosphorus. It has all the traits of the tuberculosism. But still, it did not help. And 1 dose saw the entire case through. So this is one thing to think, that how much should we use our anti-miasmatics, or if we learn them well, do we have to use our constitutionals less? I had read Allen's miasms. First time I took the book in my hand, I was in 4th year BHMS. I could not read it for more than 5 days. The next day I took the book. I could not read it. Then I took it in my internship. I could not finish it. So 5 years into practice, after seeing these two results, I took the book. I wrote every single line on paper. I have written the full book. Then I typed the entire book. And I read and read and read and read miasms only to realize that miasm is the most important thing. As Dr. Vijayakar evolved, later he was talking mostly of miasms. Now to think of this, let's take an example. Let's say there is a X and Y. Okay, X marries Y. X has tuberculosis, Y has tuberculosis once upon a time in their life. So when you get a disease, your immunity will process it. So tuberculobacillus enter, the immunity processes and the immunity memory is stored. This memory is passed in the next generation. So what happens is their immunity remains in that year. That the moment this infection comes, you do this. So although they have only passed immunity, which it looks like, what has happened is they have passed the defense mode. So the body has gone in the tuberculum defense mode, which is so rampant in the country. So this is how any natural evader is targeted. For example, we have a concept of transient explosion of latent sora, transient explosion of latent psychosis, syphilis and so on. So what happens is when there are indiscretions, we all come down with symptoms. The entire LSMC that we do, we take the modality that is a time modality. Every miasm has a specific time modality. So from the acutes that are appear in front of you, that is a transient explosion of the latent miasm. These are just the acute symptoms, but they are telling you what the body is following, what it has stored in the genes. From there you get the idea of the latent miasm. Now when the big stress comes, this latent miasm become activated, and then you will see it in the full system, which you are seeing part here and part there whenever there are acute complaints. So when you have seen the whole history, you know what is happening. So what, although they have never had the infection themselves, the immunity that has passed down has triggered them to use this response as the first response. Have I made myself clear with this? We are going to the level of genetics in this way. This is supposed to be an intelligent thing, but actually it is an unintelligent of the vital force. Because although I have never come in contact with the organism, when X organism, it may not be the tuberculobacilli, when the X organism comes in contact with me, my immunity is geared up to act the way it acted for the tuberculobacilli or the syphilinum, if there was syphilis in the family. And that is how we have our aggravations, and that is how that is our rapid progression, because it has been coded and sent down. Correct? So when we say people respond differently, once more. Okay, let me see if I can say this. Let's say there is a tubercular disease which has happened in the earlier generation. You have to read Allen's miasm little more and more and more to understand this. So when they get married and have an offspring, they will not transmit the disease. But when a person gets TB, the immunity gets altered in a certain way, right? When the bacteria enters, the immunity also attacks. So there is something like an immune memory. So the immune memory stays with us, and that is passed on in the next generation, so that next time the organism invades, it becomes an easier thing to fight. But then that becomes the defense mode. So we have different active miasms, because there was syphilis also and there was sora also. So whichever dominant is in your gene will be your dominant miasm. So how it will appear is, let's say this person has cold. So is the coryza acrid? Is it a time aggravation in the night? What are the concomitants with it? From that we get the judge of the miasm. Now here it may not be a full blown. In some cases there is a full blown, where you will see every system is behaving the same, having the same aggravation. But when there is a term called transient explosion of latent sora, transient explosion of latent syphilis, these are the cases where you will get to see from the modalities of the acutes what miasm is the predominant miasm, what storm are we waiting for the future when the life stress will increase. So this is how miasms play a very active part right from the time we see those kids really, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Two people in the same house having molluscum have different modalities. They are operating starting from different levels of immunity, and this is going to decide the future of progression of their disease patterns. And that is why I think anti-miasmatics and nosodes have to be studied in the greatest depths. And I still don't have the questions answered to me that although our medicines are tri-miasmatic, why should we require an anti-miasmatic? That's it.